Good morning, everyone. It's Ben Buckner with Ag Resource Company, flying solo again. It's Wednesday, October 8th, and we've got grain markets a bit higher, but as has been the case for the last several days, fractional moves. Neither the bulls or bears still have any ammunition to really push that next directional change in value. I think what news does exist today, though, is the Office of Management and Budget has prepared $13 billion to transfer to the CCC, at which point it can be distributed to the farmer. So farm aid is coming, but various furloughs and government officials at the USDA have delayed this process. So now, at least, it does seem like we do need the government to reopen before we have any real details about coming producer aid. But we do still think it kind of mirrors the MFP payments of 2018, 2019. But stay tuned for that. We didn't get the news we thought we would get yesterday. Secondly, we still have very, very favorable weather, at least conducive to harvest. And as we'll touch on in a bit, where rain has fallen this week, it is going to help a lot of the winter wheat crop. But generally, dry weather from Lincoln, Nebraska to Baltimore for the next week or so. So I think the pace of harvest is going to stay pretty rapid. But I think we're still going to deal with markets that are more or less, stuck in the mud. And so our idea here is what changes this. We know we're kind of back to prices that we saw between 2014, 2019. Very little volatility, not a lot of moves on a weekly or even monthly basis. So at Ag Resource, our sole focus is again what catalyzes the next move, and is there one coming? So be prepared, I think, for kind of a lengthy period of a market like this. I think the outside of a potential U.S.-Chinese deal that includes ag specifically, we're kind of struggling to find global demand drivers, whether it's stagnating energy consumption globally, stagnating motor gasoline in the United States. That's not going to help biofuel production and consumption. Mother Nature's been very kind to both hemispheres really the last couple of years, and that does for now look to continue. So we wanted to show you again kind of the updated South American forecast. It's from the EU ensemble model, one of the best performers over the last couple of weeks. And so it does look like the consistent nature of this, the Brazilian rainfall, monsoonal rainfall pattern does appear imminent. Even got yet more regional showers in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So this looks pretty good. We've got planting progressing pretty fast in both North and South Brazil. Paraná, state of Paraná, 31% planted on soybeans. That's a little better than average and close to last year. So that should bode favorably for progress moving forward. And I think generally speaking, if we're going to have South American crop loss, or at least soybeans, is probably historically has been drought in the south of Brazil. So that's something that we'll watch very closely, but it's probably not going to be in the tropical latitudes. As we highlighted yesterday, it's just very hard to sustain drought in areas that are now adjacent to the rainforest in Brazil. Argentina also may be the surprise. We've talked about just the abundance of soil moisture that exists currently, drought being completely gone. And that's been unique to the last couple of years. Think about last year in Argentina, very limited rain fell, and that really capped wheat yield potential. But this year, wheat, the market that's struggling most with oversupply and just the complete lack of bullish input. Crop conditions, wheat in Argentina now 93% good excellent. And it's up from 85% 2 weeks ago, and it's historically incredibly strong. So I think there is potential for a record or close to record wheat crop in Argentina. So that's adding to global grain supplies, not subtracting from them. We also think about forward Argentine weather and just some very broad correlations. So let us, track August and September rainfall in Argentina. And if we go back to July 15th, there are some places in the Argentine ag belt that have seen 10 to 14 inches of rain, just an abnormally heavy amount. What happens the following 2 months? And so we kind of put that correlation together here, and you can see that it's not totally guarantees ongoing favorable weather. There have been years, 2017 and 2010, where ultimately you did see drought in corn and soybean yield loss. But on balance, going back a couple of decades, you're probably not, probabilities are low that drought does emerge in Argentina the next couple of months. So a lot of corn, early planted corn, will start pollinating kind of the end of November, early December. So I think our idea here and the message is, barring a change to climate patterns, if we fast forward 100 days, does South American crop potential increase above and beyond the USDA's current forecast? I just think we need to see a change in a weather pattern somewhere. We're probably not going to see that in South America, at least in the near term. So be prepared to reward rally still is the high level message from us. Also wanted to just show 48-hour gauge measured rainfall in the United States. And so it's been very dry in a lot of places. That's still the case. We're still uncertain about final U.S. corn yield, final U.S. soybean yield. But I wanted to show that it has rained in the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, some key areas of Kansas, and the mid-southeastern Midwest. An inch or 2 or 3 inches in places like Kentucky, southern Indiana, Ohio. So the poor wheat market just continuing to have to contend with generally favorable weather globally. And autumn weather doesn't correlate really at all with final crop potential in the northern hemisphere for wheat, but we probably are entering the winter period without real meaningful soil moisture issues almost anywhere. There's been a rejuvenation in Western Europe. Kind of the last remaining spot, it has been incredibly dry in southeast Ukraine and southern Russia, that the breadbasket of that part of the world now. But even that region is going to see some rain incoming, up to 1 or 2 inches, and some key oblasts like Krasnodar and Rostov. So this at least will provide a band-aid to get to, I think, the winter months as crops there start to enter dormancy in the next 60 days or so. Romania up to 3 or 4 inches, also a pretty big winter wheat producing area. So we're all just kind of waiting. And that's, again, where our research will be focused. $1, of course, gets you in, gets you updated with all of this. What is the next spark? Long-term, big picture fundamentals we don't think are changing today, but our eyes and ears are going to be open to that potential change moving forward, starting with U.S. yields. But again, wanted to be pretty clear that Mother Nature so far is continuing to cooperate with the world. And that probably continues for the next 60 days or so in South America. And it probably is all about South America if we're to change U.S. exporter and global balance sheets meaningfully. So thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with everything you need to know, and we'll see you then.